Agud Voch Raboisai. Leilui Nishmat Mordechai. Yitzchak Hochman. Thank you, Reb Eli, for all the chizik to keep up the daf. Baruch Hashem, we just moved into our new home, and at 1 a.m. remembered that I didn't learn the daf. At that point, exhausted and all, I sat down and made sure to learn. It's all about the Yomi. Thank you. Mazel tov in your new home. Hello. Attached is a picture of my sons, David and Yehuda Zeav, at Dumfries. No? Huh? Dumfries Station. On Thursday, they decided to come home a day early. Listen to this. Day early from our holidays in Scotland and missed the day at the beach so they could be at the Siyum in Manchester. It's the first Masechta of the Gemara that David has made a Siyum on, and I'm very proud of him. Also, shout out to Shimi Leafman for helping us out with the technical side of an alias to watch the daf and a holiday. No Wi-Fi where we're staying. It makes such a difference when you have a local person to turn to, who you will take share. Chrayas is helping out. Many thanks for being such an inspiration to him. Binyamin first, Manchester. Yeah, beautiful. Gershon Rose. We're on a flight, about to take off, switching the phone into flight mode so the plane doesn't fall out of the sky. I just got my 13th Kiddushin recruit just from status. People don't realize the power of the status, the clips group, and the social media to bring more people to Torah. Gershon Rose. My name is Mati Spiegel. Here are some videos from this summer's trip to Morocco and Gibraltar. I hope you enjoy and share with the share. Thank you.
Good morning,
It's not posh. Oh, there's a different one. Okay. Nachum Horvitz. Thank you for restarting my favorite cheer, the 8-minute daf summary. It's funny because, what's his name? Green. What's your the Levi, no? What's his first name? Yudah Greenman, that's right. Yudah Greenman was just telling me by Myriv that he needed a place to stay in Baltimore, and they set him up with some place, and he walks into the basement, he can't believe his eyes. The whole basement's full of MDY and this and merch, and it was Nachum Horowitz's house. And Nachum Horowitz took his kids on the trips, he said it's an unbelievable host. But that's the thing about MDY, the Mishpacha. He lives here in RBS. He needed a place in Baltimore. He found a place.
Did you find a video?
Huh?
Did you find a video of him?
Of who? No, you're right. I should have put that in. Okay, next time, remind me. I'll put it in.
Good morning,
This is the same guys on vacation. He had like 5 of these videos from all over the place. All right, the Koilel, sponsored. May we merit the crown Hashem. The Masechta sponsored by Lakewood and Lebovic families. Lakewood, New Jersey, because torah and achdus are the best segula. Parnas HaChodesh, first one. Brocha V'Hatzlocha in all my endeavors. Baruch Tzvi Nissim. Ben Shoshana Leah. Parnas HaChodesh, the second one. Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of the third yahrzeit of his beloved Raiza Gitl Zeav. Parnas HaChodesh, Mordechai ben Esther, for complete Refuah Shem B'Karoi V'Amein. Parnas HaChodesh, Leilui Nishmat Chai Bas Yosef, the Shom Shel Rav Eli. Parnas HaChodesh, Leilui Nishmat Avrum Albert Halevi ben Esther Gabriel ben Yaminov. Shom Shel Rav Eli. Parnas HaChodesh, in honor of Rav Eli Sim Ashas and all of MDY. Parnas HaChodesh, Leilui Nishmat Zechariah ben Moshe. Shom Shel Rav Eli. Parnas HaYom, Brocha V'Hatzlocha in our new home, whoever you are. Amen. By Dan Rubinoff, in honor of my grandparents' yahrzeit on Bezel Leah Bas Avram Aaron Yaakov Moshe ben Yosef Chaim HaKoyed and Shoshana Shemarav and Aliyah. The art is sponsored. Yosef Chaya Sarah for all the schusim that come from supporting Limudat Torah. Rabbi Isai, since it's Motzei Shabbos, we're going to go through some of the musagim in Shas, although we don't have that many because I did all the musagim on Gittin, on the last daf of Gittin, so we only have a few daf. Daf Beis, we learned about Maimer. Maimer is when there's a Yavam, and Midaraisa, he's zakuk to the Yavama. You could either do Yibum or Chalitza, but what if he decides to give one of the Yavamas, what if he decides to give the Yavama money, and there's a few brothers, so now she becomes Asr on the other brothers. Maimer is Kiddushin de Rabbanan when it comes to a Yavam. Next one is Kicha. Kicham is the Ephraim. We learn Kinyan Kesef by Isha from a field. Zav is a man who has an emission. and we learned about the Zeav who has 3 years. There's room for you. Reb Yosef. Came from basketball, Mustama, huh? I'm just nervous that somebody's going to show up at 11 o'clock because he thought that the shear is at 11. Because I did say that at the end of shear. But I took the dibur, huh? Which part was cut off? Oh, the Turkey the dibur part. Yosef likes to make trouble like that sometimes. You did on purpose, didn't you? Oh, he did. He fixed it, he said. Oh.
When he says Shemot Shabbos, 10 p.m.
That's what I heard.
Oh, really?
I heard 10
It ended at 10 So you were in that cheer? Okay. Okay, fine. And what's the difference, Benny, between a Zeav that has 3 riyos and a Zeav that only has 2 riyos? That's the one you forgot. What did you say? Who said? Carbon. Very good. The difference is whether you bring a carbon or not. Benny, you can answer this one. What's befonei nechtav or befonei nechtav? It's what a shliach says when he brings a get from chutz la'aretz. I saw it. You're not into it yet. That's right. Whoever talks gets asked. So, yeah. Kinyan sudar, which equals chalipin. It's a way to do a kinyan. It doesn't really work by a woman. Hafara is a sugya of nedarim, that a father has the right to be meifir, the neder of his wife, of his daughter. Nirtza. It's not from the Haggadah, if you weren't here. Let's see. Oh, there is an edit. Somebody sent me a clip of what Yosef did. Let's see if it's here. Probably not. Okay. So I said it's on the left there, so he flipped it around, but it said Daf Dalet backwards, the whole thing, whatever. It worked. Eved Ivri, there's 2 types of Eved Ivri, a Sachir and a Toishav. Sachir is less than 6 years. Toishav is up until Yovel. And that's if he was Nirtza. Nirtza, he's a Toishav. Even though you can learn out of a Kavachomer, the Torah will sometimes write about it. Zika, we spoke about if there's a Yavam and a Yavama. So there's a couple that's married, they didn't have children, the husband dies, his wife falls liyibum, she's zakok, she's bonded, she has a bond to the Yavam. She can't get married to anybody else. There's a hekesh. Things that you have by a get, you have by Kiddushin. When you have by Kiddushin, you have a get. The idea of a memetzinu, a binyanav. By the way, I opened up the book, the Gittin book. It has 100 of these inyanim, and I started going over them with my 13-year-old. It's a good idea if somebody wants to try. Mordechai, you want to try it with me? Do you know what breira is? We're learning about breira, re'achaget, get mekusher. It's shmaka stuff. Mametzinu binyanav. If I find halacha over here, and we have something similar, why don't you put the halacha in the other thing? And we just said that you could be parichet, you could ask a pircha kol dehu. All right, Rabbi Sai, here we are. Omar Shmuel, like 10 lines from the bottom of Amud Beis. Omar Shmuel. B'Kiddushin nosan lo kesef v'shava kesef. He gave her money or shava kesef. Today we say it's even better to do shava kesef. Omar. The lashonis of Kiddushin. Omar lo hareyat mukudeshes. What's missing? Li. Hareyat mukudeshes. What could he mean, possibly? That you're engaged to me. I forgot to say hello to all the guests. So hello. Shalom aleichem. If you're a guest, raise your hand a second. You're a guest. What's your name? What? Baruch Burger from? Oh, I knew that's... Okay, very nice. Okay. Welcome. Keep on coming. And all you guests. Fine. So it's missing li. Maybe he's saying you should be mekudesh to somebody else. Hareyat mekudeshes. Hareyat mureses. You're narusa, the first stage of Kiddushin. Hareyat li into. You are a wife. Hareyzu mekudeshes. This is good. It's Kiddushin. Next. Hareini isheich. I'm your spouse. Hareini balach, I'm your husband. Hareini aruseich, I'm your oros. Ein kan beis mechush. It's 0. What does ein kan beis mechush mean? We spoke about that then the Gittin we're learning about Raiza Gitl. Raiza Gitl means if even a husband writes a get to his wife and he puts it away and he never gave it to her and then he dies, so this woman has a Raiza Gitl, some scent of a get. It smells a shtickle like she's divorced and therefore she's also to marry a kohen. Over here the Gemara is telling us ein kan beis mechush, you have nothing to be concerned with. 0. Why? It says ki kachish. The man takes the woman. Not, I'm giving myself over to you. Hareini ba, I'm your husband. I'm your oros. It's 0. It has no reach here at all. V'chein begerush, and the same halacha applies to get. Nasan lavomer la hareat mishulachas. You are sent away. Hareat mugureshes. You're divorced. Hareat muters l'chal adam, which it says mefurish in the get. Hareizim mugureshes. That's a great get. But if he says eini isheich, I am not your husband. Eini balach, eini aruseich, ein kan beis mechush. Again, because it says v'shilcha, he has to send her away, not send himself away. So it doesn't have a reach get over here. Remember the Sovar Shmuel Yudayim Shemuchichois having Yudayim. So what's this? Today, everybody's going to learn some beautiful sugis, beautiful musagim. The handle means that you're not holding on to the actual object. Yudayim Shemuchichois. So in our case, he says Harei at Mikudeshes. Now you could understand he's in Shidduchim, she's in Shidduchim, and he says Harei at Mikudeshes, but he never said Li. Maybe he's a shliach for his friend and he wants to be Kaddish for somebody else. So that's a Yad Shemuchiach. It's not 100% sure. He didn't complete the sentence. It's very interesting. It's like, I like to say the story a lot, so I won't say it, but maybe for the new guys that are brand new for Kiddushin, I'll say quickly, my good friend, Yehuda Freilach, he was in a Kiruv, Rosh Shoshana program, and Yom Kippur program, I don't remember which one it was anymore, and he was training the Kohanim for the Bracha. They never did Birkas Kohanim. So he said, just follow everything I say, the Israeli is not a problem, Baruch, Ata, Hashem, da-da-da. And when he said, he said, okay, עכשיו כולם נסתובב. So they all repeated after him, עכשיו כולם נסתובב. And, okay. What happens in Kiddushin? You have a guy who has no clue what to say. Okay, he's Tinik Shenishba, he's up there in the chuppah, he wants to have an Orthodox chuppah. Okay, it's the first time. And the guy says, Harei, Harei, At, Mukudeshes, Li. And the Rav just was now Mekadesh, his wife. He said, Li first. So what do? It's a problem. Shtickle problem, no? So they say, no, there's a need there. You don't have to worry about it. You do have to worry about it. Okay.
He's not giving
Yeah, but he doesn't have to give. She's masking to him. He gave for him. He gives her a ring. The shliach gives the ring. What's the problem? Oh, Chaim March is asking Kash. He brought 3 people. I have to answer. What are you asking?
Doesn't say Leah after that.
He says exactly what the Rav says, but it doesn't matter what he says. It's too late. She's already engaged to the Rav. Oh, okay. Vasnan. It seems from here, Shmuel says that it's good. He didn't say, all he says is Hariyat Mukudeshes, he didn't say Li. And Shmuel says it's good. So you see, a hand that's not convincing, it's missing part of the words, Havi Yadayim. Vasnan. And we learned, a guy says the word ahei, 3 letters, he becomes a nazir. A nazir is a person who has to abstain from grapes, can't become tamei, the whole thing, has to let his hair grow. What does ahei mean? I shall be. Maybe I shall be in a tainus today. Just going back, throw back to Nazir. That's our Nazir. He was the guy interviewed. It's crazy. I think like that video had the most. It's obviously not about me. Nazir's like 30,000 views or something. You know, the interview with the Nazir. People are fascinated by stuff. Again, what just happened? Oh, well, okay. Hey, so if a Nazir is walking by, so now we understand what he's saying. Hey, I shall be like this guy. Excuse me, kids. That's why. 37,000. Yosef, you're next to them, so you gotta. Not smack. Just maybe they don't know the rules. So. It's only because it's so obvious that this Nazir was walking by and he said, I want to be like that, then he becomes a Nazir. But if not. So over here, why do we say that this is Kiddushin? So Memela, the Gemara comes to Maskana that he said the word Li, you have to add Li, etc. Hareat Mureses, Li. Yahachi asked the Gemara, Maikom Ashmalon. So what's the chiddush? Hareat Mekudesh. That's exactly what you're supposed to say. Hareat Mekudeshes. Says the Gemara, Hani Lishna Basroi Kamashmalon. Enochanami. There's no chiddush in Hareat Mekudeshes. The chiddush is in Hareni Bailach, any Bailach, where we said Ein Kabes Meichosh. Those lashonas. That's what we're trying to tell you, chiddush. That there's nothing to be concerned with certain languages, but the famous Hareat Mekudeshes, Li. Obviously, there's no chiddush in there. We're just trying to. We're giving you a list of all the good stuff, and we're throwing in the bad to tell you the chiddush in the bad. Why, says the Gemara, he has to take and acquire a wife and not to give himself over to her. And by get it says, and he shouldn't send himself away. These three things. You are my wife, you are my arusa, you are acquired by me, Mekudeshes. Hareat Shali, you are mine. Hareat Birshusi, you're in my possession. Hareat Kukali, you have a bond to me, Mekudeshes. As the Gemara should say 6 halachas and say at the end, it's Kiddushin. Why are you stopping in middle after 3 and say this Kiddushin? Says the Gemara, Tana, Tlas, Aminu, Bigarsino. The Gemara is just telling us a little bit of an insight how it used to work. First, there were 3 Lashonas that were taught by the Tanaim. So the Talmidim went and repeated it over and over, and it became part of their Gemara. Generations later, years later, they added another 3. So once it's added, something that you add, you never go back and change the Lashon. It confuses the memory. So you have a certain way that you memorize it and it says, Hare, what's the Lashon? Mekudeshes. Now you have another 3, okay, so we'll add another 3. We'll try to memorize the other 3. We don't want to chop off the word Mekudeshes from the first 3. Says the Gemara, Tanit Tlas Aminu V'Garsinu. They heard it and they regarded it. Ibaylu. Miyuchedes li mahu. So check out this pasuk. Alken Yazavish Yisrael V'Sima, the famous pasuk with Davak Bishtoi V'Oyel Basar Echad. So Echad Miyuchad, says Rashi. In other words, if you use the lashon in the Torah. Now, what we have to understand is, does the Kala know what he's talking about? She was at a lot of chasanas. She heard Hared Mekudeshes Li. She never heard Hared Miyuchedes Li. Next, Miyuedes Li. Yud is when you have an Amma, you can be Miyader, give it to your son. You designate her. So you have the lashon in the Torah. Mao, Ezrasi Mao. Now, Rashi brings this pasuk. It's in the pasuk. She'll help him out. Help me, Mao. Negdasi Mao. You my counterpart. Atsurasi Mao. So this comes from the pasuk. He's trying to be cute at the chuppah, trying to be innovative. Be different. You are my gathered. You are my rib. I looked into it. I said that it's not a rib. It's a tail, but there is a shita that it's a rib. Zgurasi, salasi in Hebrew means rib, but I don't remember. Okay, whatever. Ayin sham. Zgurasi mau vayizgar. Closed. Tachtai mau. You're instead of me. You're my replacement. Fusasi mau. I seized you. The kulchasi mau. You're taken. Says Gemara, this is all great. We have a lot of them. All I can help you out with is one, the last one, the Sanyo, he's basing it on the word Yikach. So this is also a pasuk. What's going on here? There's a Shifcha Knanis. Shifcha Knanis. That was designated to Eved Ivri. The guy had a non-Jewish slave and he had a Jewish slave. They said you should marry each other. So now there's a shayla what this nechrefes is. Machlokes. You see Rashi. Rashi says that in the beginning of the sugya, we understand like Rebbe Kiva that she's not a complete shifcha. She's a chatzi. How do you have a half a shifcha and a half a bas chayrim if she was owned by two masters and one of them released her? So she's a chatzi shifcha. So if she's a chatzi shifcha, what's the difference? Because if she's a full shifcha, there's zero kiddushin. You can't. Kiddushin is not typhus. It doesn't apply to her at all. She's not Jewish. But if she's a chatzi shifcha, so she has 50% of her that's a bas chayrin, that's the Israelis. So there is a tzaddik kiddushin. Okay. So in Mela, we're going on like Rebbe Kiva that's saying that she's a half and half. So there's a little bit of kiddushin. So the word nechrefes could apply to kiddushin over here. But if you hold, like Rabbi Shmuel, that there's zero kiddushin, so the word nechrefes doesn't apply over here at all. Nechrefes is talking about she is nechrefes, shifcha nechrefes, she's a guy. So it's not a lashon kiddushin at all. Now she's chayv mitzvahs, a few mitzvahs, but in terms of kiddushin, she's zero. So that ask the Gemara, Yiboilu charufasi ma'u. So Shema Desanya hoimer charufasi mikudeshes. I have a raya. If you say charufasi, it's kiddushin. It's beautiful. It's mefurish brayso. She can be Yehuda karin larusa charufa. In Yehuda, the whole next to Yerushalayim over there, that whole section, they all call an engaged kala. They call her a charufa. So it's great. Ask the Gemara, Yehuda have a ruba da alma. Who cares? In one neighborhood, they use that lashon, so that's why everybody, let's say in Bavel, is also engaged if you use that lashon. Says Gemara Chikamar, Hoimer charufasim kudeshes, shenemar v'hi shivcha nechareves lish. She's mekudesh. Why? Because the Torah says it's a lashon in the Torah. V'oi, then I have another reason. Yehuda karin larusa charufa. Also in Yehuda, that's what they use. Ask the Gemara, Yehuda v'oi likra. I gave you a pasuk. So you want to bring a riot to the pasuk from Yehuda. Sometimes you can see in Sfarim, or let's say in a Pachkavil, it says, Reb Yashiv said this is Aser, and then the guy writes, because he's a big honor, he writes, V'oid Yehuda Likra, the Rosh Yeshiva from Chveis, the small yeshiva down the block. It's a way to say that I'm a nobody. You have the pasuk, and who am I? I shouldn't. Yeah. Okay. So a guy came to a Rav. Ma'aseh came to a Rav. He says they just found an archaeological artifact that proves X, Y, Z. Look, it's mamish. Like you can see that it's true what it says in the Torah. So he got very annoyed at him. He said, "I need an artifact that says in the Torah. It's a pasuk. What do I need an artifact?" I mean, I understand the guy that came, he's all excited and everything, but it's the same idea. Like, if the Torah says it's a tefach on a tefach, say, look, they found something. Look, it's mamish, a tefach, mamish like in the Torah. Okay, there's nothing more than the pasuk. It's a fact. If it says in the pasuk, it's a fact. Okay. Elachi kama. Says Gemara, Eimer charufas b'Yehuda mikudeshes, shekein b'Yehuda kar larusa charufa. No, the pshat is only in that neighborhood. The neighborhoods that call an arusa charufa, it works. But nowhere else. Just because, in other words, yes, it's a lashon in the Torah, but we don't use it. In Bavel, we don't use that lashon in the Torah. So if somebody uses a lashon that's in the Torah, it's not going to work. But in Yehuda, it is going to work because they actually use that lashon over there. Says the Gemara, but we have to understand the whole shaila here. We had all these lashonos. Miuchadesli, Miuadesli, Zrasi, Nigdasi, Tzurasi. You're talking to a kala that barely knows what's flying. She didn't go to yeshiva. See, Atzurasi. Harei at the Tzurasi. She doesn't know what you're talking about. So why should she be engaged? All of a sudden, they're at an amusement park and he says, Harei at the Tzurasi. Why should she chap? How is she going to understand? No, the pshat is, he's in the middle of talking to her about the chuppah and the this and all the details of the Kiddushin. And then he said this lashon. Then even if you don't say Aret Mikudeshes, she's also engaged. What's pshat? A person was in the middle talking to a woman about Kiddushin. We could talk about Gittin also. We're talking about Kiddushin now. He gave her either a get or he gave her Kiddushin. He just gave it to her. But it was a conversation about Kiddushin. She's engaged. You don't need anything more. Rebbe says no. You have to say, finish, end the story. So again, they had a conversation about the chuppah, and it was going to be inside the Kiddushin, and this, and you know it has to be a Shavah Pruta. He's telling you all the things, and also he says, Hariyat Tzurasi. You don't even have to say Hariyat Tzurasi. All he has to do is give a ring, and Shalom Yisrael. That's it. She's engaged. Because she knows why the ring came. Says the Gemara, they were talking exactly what you thought. You asked, why does they have to say any lashon? Says the Gemara, beautiful. You don't have to say a word, but sometimes saying too much ruins it. If he said 0, I don't know if you could say 0, but if he didn't say anything, then it's perfect. He gave her a ring, and he said, now he just ruined everything. Now she's confused. Had he been quiet, she would have chapped that we're talking about Kiddushin because he's talking about Kiddushin. But they were talking about Kiddushin, he gave her a ring and he said a funny lashon. But because he used the funny lashon, so maybe he meant, I want you to work for me. Teiku. Tishbi taretz kushivi boys, and we don't have an answer for those lashonos besides the one of the kuchasi. Kufa. Person was talking with this woman about a get and Kiddushin. And he didn't say anything. Rabbi says it's enough. All right, it's talking about that the in middle of the inyan, mamish in middle of talking about Kiddushin, he gave her a ring. Says the Gemara, Rebbe, the author of the Mishnah, they don't have to be mamish exactly talking about it. That's the Gemara. What do you mean you don't have to be in discussing it? So how does she know what you're talking about? How did she know why you gave her the ring? Maybe it's a gift. They're discussing, and they were not discussing Kiddushin really. They were discussing the dunya, they're discussing money things, how much money you have in the bank account, how much money you bring into the marriage. They started talking about Kiddushin, then they went to another topic. So now they're another topic. Then he pulls out a ring. Happens to be that there's a very, very famous Magachir, class act, that, let me see if I can find it over here. Yeah. That uses, this is his favorite lashon. Anytime I ever heard him talking and learning, he says, Me'inyin le'inyin ba'isa MS? He listens to shir every day. And I just got today. I got a video of him, but I don't have the video, unfortunately. Maybe Yosef will show the video, but here he is. I know I got it from 5 people, the video, and they trapped him. They gave him a challah, and they as he got the challah, a sourdough, and then Shalom Rand, and he You want to join Reb Eli's shir? Anyways, it was nice. Fine. Regards. So, no, but he signed their Gemaras and the whole thing. Okay. It's interesting because, I'm not so into it, and I don't understand how it works exactly. But we're talking about there are communities that the first question asked, it's not like, does she have good midas? Does she call this? Does she have any diseases? Any machlas? How much money is she bringing to the table? It's literally the first question. It's like, but that's the biggest inyan. First, we have to know how much money. Then we can discuss if she has midas and this and that. But, what? What it was? What? Depends what you're looking for. Yeah. And I was just reading, like, there's a piece of paper here, mamish on one of the tables there. The organization that each tzad should bring 180,000 shekel to the table, and no more, no less. And end of these shtusim that this guy has to give 5 times the amount of this, and if you're a girl, you give that amount. The boy, you have to give less. The whole thing. Okay. Anyways, not getting into it. Azoy is there's minhagim in different places. Over here, it seems a little different. First, we're talking about Kiddushin and this and that. Then afterwards, okay, well, what are you bringing in? No, first question. No, we can't even, it's not even to be discussed. Only 1 million shekel? Says the Gemara, yeah, where are we? No, we're way past that. That what? That if they're talking about Kiddushin, according to him, and then he gives a ring, you don't even have to say I read Mekudashes. It's self-understood. If you don't know the halachas of Gittin and Kiddushin, you should have nothing to do with it. So let's see Rashi for a second, like 10 lines down. You shouldn't be the Masada Kiddushin, Shema Yater Isa Erva. Or when you're talking about a get, you'll come to be matter an erva. Say, she's allowed to get married to anybody she wants. It's a perfect get. You can't fix an affair like that. You have mamzerim running around on your cheshbon. So there's a few people. There's somebody. If you are in this room and you once asked me to be Masada Kiddushin at your chasana, raise your hand. No, he really did. He asked me. And what did I tell you? Why? Because I don't know, but Tifgiti Kiddushin. It's a very nice keyboard, but if you don't know what you're doing, there's nothing to talk about. So I'm a sorry. Now, it happens to be that there are, Rebelach, Rosh Hashivalach, not on the high things. They don't have a lot of experience, and they accept it. But they come with the meinekes. They come with like the They come with like so the Rav comes with like a guy holds his hand and whispers, no, put the thing there. Okay, fine. I don't want to do that, so I'm out of there. Fine. So what is he asking? The halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that if the chassan or the future chassan is talking about Kiddushin and then he gives her a ring, he doesn't even have to say Hariyat Mikdashes. Do you need to know that's halacha or not? What do you mean? Of course you need to know halacha. What's the shayla b'chlal? Isn't that one of the important halachas in Kiddushin? What if this happens? Says Rashi, because it's not shchiach. It never happens something like that. It barely ever happens. So if you don't know it's a halacha that's not going to happen, does that ruin it for you? Can you still be a Masada Kiddushin? Oh, fine. Yes, you need to know this. I feel that I say these words, we'll just say it again. Even if you didn't hear about it, yes. That's also an important one. Fine. He gives his wife a get and he says, you are sent away. Hared Meguresh is divorced. Hared Mutar L'Chaladim, you're mutter to everybody in the world. Hared Megureshes, that's the perfect lashon of Gerushin. Says Gemara Pshita, nothing like Gita Vamalol Ishta Hared B'Schorid. This is a Pasht halacha. If you tell your wife, and we had this in Gitin, you are free. Well, guess what? All wives are free. Every woman is free in Yiddishkeit. We don't own a wife, so it's a terrible lashon. Hariyat Mascharim doesn't work because she's already free. Vav Amud Beis. Klum, zero, nothing. Sponsored in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, and as a schus for a year filled with Maz Brocha and Parnas Berevach, and by Greg Haber. I just met Brocha, Parnos, V'Hatzlocha, Brios for his family, Rav Eli, and all of everyone doing the daf. Amen. It's not?
Your uncle.
Uncle?
His uncle.
Doesn't say uncle here. Oh. My uncle. Okay. Yeah, his uncle. No, I think the Olam understood. But it's not Yadayim Shemechichos, so Mela, you should change the lashon. Fine. Amal Shevchasai. Harei Mutaris L'Chaladam. What if he tells his servant, his shivcha, you're mutter to everybody. It's not a good lashon. Why is it not a good lashon? What? But more than that, he's saying because she's not his wife. But is she mutter to everybody? She's not even mutter to everybody because now once he frees her, she becomes also to slaves. She can't marry. Now she can marry Jews, but she can't marry. So she's not mutter to everybody. It's not a good lashon.
They have a different lashon today, but it's almost like their own category, their property.
Yeah, but it's still, you mean they're not Adam? But they're humans, and Memela, it's not. You're not mutter to all humans. You are to yourself. You tell her, listen. Until now, I used to take all your earnings, and now you're independent. I didn't mean that I want to divorce you. I misspoke. All I meant is you took it seriously. He sees she's crying. Why is she crying? Adar, I was trying to give her a gift. Anything you earn, you get to keep. It's great. And she thought you're on your own. Like, get out of here. But the Gemara had the shine. What? You're saying it was pretty obvious. No, it's in the get. No. It's in a document. He wrote the lashon. Rashi says in the document. Arei at la'atzmich.
It's not clear enough to be gay.
Right.
He meant to divorce her. That's what he was.
I don't know. I'm trying to make a geshmak yamai. So you want to ruin it? Ruin it. You want to dumb it down? Fine. What was his kavanah? I told you a few times I had the schos to have Reb Yeshua Cohen, who was known as Shas Cohen in our house, for a very, very long time, a few months. And so he told me, one of the things he said is, you should know that Shas, 50% of the Shas is repeated. And here's like a sugi that we had word for word just a few weeks ago in Gitin. And I'm assuming what he meant is that 25% of the Shas is repeated. So that makes 50, right? Because if like 50% of the Shas is repeated, that's 100%. You know what I mean? It's like if...
Yeah, I got it. Didn't you go to Ponovich?
Is that Ponovich math? Am I wrong? It adds up. 25% is double, so 25 is 50, so that's 50% of the Shas. But if you take 50% of the Shas and say 50% is doubled, that's 100% of the Shas. So maybe only 25% is doubled. I don't know. Go ask him when you see him. But he said something like that. I'll go upon him. Here we go. What's the main part of a document that you release your slave? You are free. You're to yourself. Says Gemara, you own his whole mitzias. And when he says this exact word, you are to yourself, he meant completely Isha, the you don't own herself. So certainly when you say she acquires herself in a get. Also from Gitin. He tells a slave, I have nothing to do with you. Me, I mean, ainly esik bach legamri kamarle. They say I have nothing to do with you completely. Go, you're free. Or dilma lemalacha kamarle. Or perhaps he said, I have nothing to do with you. You don't have to work for me anymore, but you're still a slave. Sounds familiar, Rabbi Say? If you did chazar for sure. If you sell your slave to a guy, which is usher, why is it also sell your slave to a guy? Because the eved is chayav in mitzvahs. And when you sell him to a guy, what's going to happen to his mitzvahs? He's not going to be able to be chayav in the mitzvahs. So yotza l'cheirus. So we force you to redeem him, bring him back, pay up to 10 times his value, and when you get him back and you pay 10 times the value, you can't even use him anymore. Yotza l'cheirus. He goes free. V'tzar get shichrur merabi rishon. Rashi points out, a guy can't buy another guy, he can't buy from a guy, he can't sell to a guy, he can't do anything. So anyway, it's not his. He goes back to the Jew, and then he has to give him a little bit of a get. He's not just going to go out. Oinoi is one of the Yidis that we had in Gittin. The word oinoi means a star. And what's in the star? If the Jewish master, as he sold him to the non-Jew, he wrote a little bit of a oinoi, he gave him a little bit of a document, that's enough. He doesn't need a second document once he redeems him. In the oinoi he writes, you hear Mordechai? If somebody asks you what an oinoi is, you'll know and he won't. The other person won't know. Oinoi is a star. Boys, here we go. This is one of those beautiful yeshiva sugyas. I remember in yeshiva we sat on this daf for, 3-4 weeks. And now we're going to do it in 3 minutes. And we might understand it better definitely more than I understood back then. Okay, it's very, very simple. It says in the Torah, Im kesef talvis ami is hani imach le'isila k'noish le'simul l'mneshach. This is Issa de Raiza to take ribis, interest from a loan. Now, if a person, we'll just say the whole sug in 2 seconds. Mamish simple. A woman goes to the banker, the local banker, and she borrows $1 million from him. She has $1 million. Fine. She takes the $1 million, uses it, buys a house, the whole thing, and then she comes back to repay the loan. And the guy says, you know what? I'm moichel you. No loan. And now I want you to be mekudesh to me. I want to get engaged. No loan. If you get engaged to me, no loan. $1 million. What's the halacha? Engaged or not engaged? All you need is a pruta to get engaged. And now he forgave her $1 million. The halacha is not engaged. Why? Because you have to give the woman at the time of Kiddushin, you have to give her a pruta. And to be moichel alone, you didn't give her anything. 0. Milva loitza nitna. That's a musling in Shas. I gave you the money. You don't have to return that money. You return something else. It's to spend. I lent you money to spend it. So she spent it. There's nothing tangible now. He's not giving her anything. But there is a way to be mekadesh her. If he says, with the hana that you're going to have now, when you find out that I forgave you the loan, with that hana, be mekadesh to me. Does that work? Yes.
There's no shepherd.
Huh? It is. If I forgive you on your mortgage of your house, it's not worth a pruta to you right now. It's not tangible, but there's a hana, and hana is worth a pruta. It's worth more than a pruta. It might be worth $990 if somebody's about to pay back $1 million, and the guy says, "I'm moichel you." Well, I don't know for $10, but for $1,000, $2,000, that itself is hana. Fine, certainly not $1 million. Oh my bye. Hamekadish b'milva ain't a mekudeshes. If I'm gonna try to be mekadesh her, instead of giving her a ring, I forgive her a loan, it's not a kiddushin. B'hanas milva. But the benefit that she got from this loan, and we're gonna see what it means in a second. I told you the end of the sugya. Mekudeshes, that works. V'asalasis came if haromas ribis. No, you can't do that. Why? Because it looks like you're avoiding ribis. You're doing a harama, like selling chametz. Harama, you can't You can't get around the rules of ribbis. So the Gemara, what is the case? If you say that there was ribbis to begin with, I'm giving you 4, and you have to repay me 5. I'm giving you $400,000. At the end of the loan, you pay $500,000. And he was meichel her the 5. All she has to pay back is 4. That's not haram of ribbis. It's real ribbis. He gave her that 5th thing. Another problem is hainu milva. You didn't gain anything because it's not tangible. The interest payment is just like the principal. There's no difference between principal and interest. They're both not here. And when he says, I forgive you the interest, it's like forgiving the loan. What's the difference? They're both not here. So why does it work? Like Tzvi says the Gemara, and this is the end of this sugya. The arvach lazimna. He gave her a loan for $1 million. And he said, you know what? You have to pay back now, Rish Chodesh Elul. I see that you're struggling. So first of all, I want to marry you. And instead of me giving you a ring now, I'm going to extend the loan for another 6 months. Now, she would pay somebody a full pruta at least. The guy that has connections to the gemach. She'd pay him $1. Hey, take this $1, go make some phone calls for me and make sure that I don't have to pay back tomorrow. I don't have the money, extend it. So it's worth at least $1 for her. So in that $1, she wants to be Mekudesh to him. That works. Why? First of all, there's no amount. He never said $1. Whatever it's worth, it's out there. It's like cuts. There's no established amount. When you say 4 to 5, it's established. The ribbis is that 5th dinner, that $100,000 established. Over here, there's some sort of, I don't know, sometimes people pay $1 for it, sometimes it's $100, $1,000, whatever the size of the loan, but it's not there. Second of all, the lender, the husband, the chassan, never received anything. That says Rashi. Tosfos asks, what do you mean he didn't receive anything? He just received the wife. He just received the wife, and it usually costs, the wife costs at least a pruta. He got that pruta. What do you mean? Okay, so Tosfos goes into the whole thing. Whole different shot here. Fine, but that's the end of that sugya, the 3-week sugya, and we're on to the next one. Amar Rav. Person says, I want to buy your house for $1 million, and I need you to do me a big favor. After you get the $1 million, give it right back to me, please. Send it back to my bank account. Says Rava, b'mecher leikana. You can't buy a house like that. B'ishayim kudeshes. If you give your kala a ring and you say almanas, that you give it back to me, it's a matana almanas lahachzeh this ring. Einam kudeshes. B'pidyon aben ein b'noi padui. If you do it by opinion aben, it doesn't work. You can't give the coin 5 slime and say on condition you give it back. There are those kohanim that give it back, but they have to be careful. I heard about the kohanim, whatever. Yesh kazidavar. You have to be careful because then he's not goymer das. If it's like an automatic minhag that he has, that he just gives it right back, then he doesn't feel that he got anything. It's not a real pidyon. And then you have to do what I did when I was a bar mitzvah. My father told me to take all my bar mitzvah money, which wasn't much, and then buy silver and be paid to myself. Because he says, I think that's your problem. It's your shtickle, farikt. But the problem is, I think I have a solution. You didn't have a real pidyon of Ben. Go, be paid to yourself. And I listened to him. That was the problem. And guess what? It didn't help. Nothing. Anyways, Truma, because the Truma, you go to the Kohen, this is crazy. Go to the Kohen, say, look, the Torah said I have to give you 2 apples out of my 100. Here's the 2 apples, I'm going to give it back to me. So, okay, he gives it back, it works. So the obvious question is, why is Truma different than opinion Aben and everything else? Well, so last week's Kohen, you shouldn't do this with a Kohen. Oh, that could be one of the Musagim in Shas. Fine, we'll put it in there. If a kohen helps you out on the threshing floor, he comes to where, the factory for all the wheat, and he helps out, you're not allowed to give him truma. Why? Because it looks like he's buying it. He's working for it, and he earned it. So over here also, this kohen who gets his 2 apples and gives it back, he's being tricky over here. Why is he doing it? Because he knows that tomorrow there's other stuff coming up with this guy, and he's going to give it to him. He just helped him out. He gave back 2 apples. So tomorrow he's going to give him 25 oranges. And that's also, you're not allowed to work for your truma. What's the lashon here? I don't have it on the spot, but it's a bad thing. There's a klala to it. What? No, shichatim bris Levi. Shichatim bris Levi. Yeah, shichatim bris Levi. You destroyed the bris of the Levi. Fine. Says the Gemara, Micah Sava, Rava. What's going on here? Why does Rava make a distinction between Truma and all the other things in the list? If he holds that it's a perfect gift, like we do with the esrig, here's my esrig, on condition you give it back to me. If he holds it's a good thing, I feel kulinami. So then she'll work with a woman. Here's a ring, on condition you give it back to me. So she had it for a moment. It was hers 100%. And she just gave it back. She's been kind of tonight. It should work with a house. Should work in opinion aben. And if it doesn't work, what's the difference? So then truma shouldn't work. But I have a bigger problem. Rav himself said it works. Where it works by esrig. Rav himself said this halacha by esrig. No, it works everywhere. It just doesn't work by a woman. Why? This looks like chalipin. I give you give back. It's like a sudar. You take it, you give it back. That doesn't work. Now, very interesting. So it says over here that it works by truma. I could take my fruit that I have to give to a kohen and give it to the kohen and say, on condition you give it right back to me. It works. But there's a beautiful das sofer that says, yes, it works. But that's like we say always, mitzvahs are not to be yahrzeit. You ate a little bit of tuna, like my best friend eats a tiny piece of tuna on Shabbos because he either, I don't know what. Just to be yahrzeit. That's it. That's silly. That's not what you do. So if you want to be yahrzeit truma, you give it to the kohen, and then you have a bracha on all your nechasim, and aser b'shvil shetis asher. You don't get aser b'shvil shetis asher if you do a matamanas lachzer, he says. I don't know who told him that, but it sounds good to me. Yeah, okay, technically speaking, you're yahrzeit to the mitzvah, but that's not in the spirit of the mitzvah. So if it's not in the spirit of the mitzvah, you don't get the benefit of the mitzvah. I don't know how much Gan Eden you're going to get for doing something like that. It's yahrzeit zayin. Yahrzeit zayin, okay, you go to the section in Gan Eden for the yahrzeit people. But it's not the real mitzvah. It's exactly how they said in the name of Rava. Who said this? Rava. Rava said that in everything it does work. You say Almanas Lahachsa works by Pinyan Abena, works by a woman, works by Truma, works by Truma, but not by a woman. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful evening, wonderful week. Tomorrow morning is Hashem, 7:15.